traveled the state. We were in Fitchburg this morning. We were in West Salem. We were in Altoona. We were in Stevens Point. We were at Schwabenau. And now we're here in the south side of Milwaukee. We're not conceding any vote anywhere across the state of Wisconsin. I'm here tonight to ask for your vote to move Wisconsin forward. I'm here to ask for your vote for Rebecca Clayfish, because remember, you got to connect the line for her as well. Yes. I'm here to ask for your vote for Van Wangard down in Racine County. I'm here to ask for your vote for Scott Fitzgerald down in Dodge County. I'm here to ask for your vote for Terry Moulton in the Chippewa Valley. And I'm here to ask for your vote in North Central Wisconsin for Jerry Petrowski, because Together, we're going to move Wisconsin forward. Thank you all not only for coming out, but thanks for all the hard work. Brad talked about it. You know, we've made millions of calls from volunteers all across the state. We made millions of contacts with voters, but we can't let up. We can't let up. In less than 22 hours, the polls close. And every vote counts.
That's right.
Every vote counts. Not just Republicans, not just conservatives. We need independents and a whole lot of discerning Democrats to join our side, because together we can move Wisconsin forward, right? You see, there's a lot of voters out there. A lot of voters out there kind of scratching their head, wondering what this recall is all about, right? Because it's certainly not about the things they said it was about last fall.
No!
I mean, think about it. They don't talk about our reforms anymore. Why? Because they're working. We documented more than $1 billion worth of savings for the hardworking taxpayers. That led to the first time in 12 years that property taxes actually went down on a median value home. That's good for senior citizens on a fixed income. That's good for working families. That's good for small businesses. That's good for moving Wisconsin forward. We took a state that a year and a half ago had a $3.6 billion budget deficit, and we turned it into a surplus. Without raising taxes, without massive layoffs, without cuts in things like Medicaid. In fact, I put more money into Medicaid, the program that funds Badger Care and Family Care, than any governor in Wisconsin history. And they certainly don't talk about jobs anymore. You know, after 2 or 3 months of all those attack ads about jobs, they don't talk about it much anymore. Why? Because the facts show that Wisconsin added jobs in 2011. We're adding jobs in 2012. Since I've been sworn in as your governor, Wisconsin's added more than 30,000 new jobs. We've got a job to do to put more of our friends and our neighbors and our family members back to work. And the way that you do that is by creating a better business environment. A better environment for small businesses to grow and prosper. For small businesses and family farmers and manufacturers and others out there. That's what this change is all about. You know, 2 years ago when I ran for governor, when I saw the fiscal and economic crisis in this state, I said we got to change things. Remember back then when Jim Doyle was the governor? Not only did we inherit a $3.6 billion budget deficit, not only did taxes go up during that time frame, but Wisconsin had lost more than 100,000 jobs. And our unemployment rate was over 9%. We had to fundamentally turn things around. But worst off, people just didn't have hope for the future. Statewide, a survey was done of our employers, and only 10%, just 10% thought we were heading the right direction. That same poll was taken early this year, and you know how many employers in the state think Wisconsin's heading the right direction? 94%. Now we don't know what's wrong with the other 6%. We got some work to do, but 94% of our employers believe we're going to go in the right direction, and they're ready to add more jobs. But you know, on survey after survey, we just saw it the other day in the front of the newspaper. It said, hiring outlook bullish. Employers are ready to go. We went from the bottom 10 of states to do business in to finally breaking the top 20 earlier last month. We're headed in the right direction. Do you know what the biggest concern for employers is? The biggest thing that's holding people back from adding even more jobs? The recall. The recall. In survey after survey after survey, it's the recall. And I can understand why. Because I spent the last year and a half nearly every day visiting farms and factories and small businesses all across Wisconsin. And I hear what I see in these surveys. Employers like the direction we're headed. They like the opportunity to add more jobs in the state that's willing to work with them. But they're scared to death about going backwards and not forward. And I understand it. Think about it. Our opponent, the mayor of Milwaukee, after 50 days, more than 50 days has passed since he was first asked what his plan would be to balance our budget. And today he still doesn't have a plan. And just this week he told a reporter that he doesn't have a plan for economic development. It's part of the reason why, it's part of the, no, we're generous. We're generous. This is not about personality. This is about the facts. This is about substance. This is not about personality. We're not going to get down in the dirt and in the gutter like they had been. We're going to talk about the truth and the facts to move our state forward. But the facts are the facts. Even here in Milwaukee, the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel endorsed me because we had a plan to move the state forward, to take on the fiscal problems of the state, to take on the economic challenges of the state, and they pointed out in that editorial that one of the downsides of my opponent is that he doesn't have a plan for economic development in Milwaukee. He doesn't have one for the state. And all we need to do is look at what's happened, sadly, here in the last 8 years in Milwaukee. Taxes and fees have gone up 43%. Sadly, unemployment has gone up by more than 26%. And worst of all, because I love Milwaukee. My boys were born in Milwaukee. My wife was born in Milwaukee. I love the people of Milwaukee, which is why I want leadership that's going to help grow jobs in Milwaukee with a real plan to move our state forward. We don't do it with more big government. We don't do it more taxes. We don't do it with more big spending. We do it with a plan to move Wisconsin forward, and that's exactly what we have. That's exactly what we have. But I, again, need your help. I need your help tonight because we've only got a few hours left. The polls open tomorrow morning. Just a few hours from now, in less than 22 hours, the polls close. Polls show us ahead. But I was just up in the shadow Lambeau Field earlier this evening, and I said, you know, borrowing from the Packers, we can't spike the ball on the 10-yard line. We got to get it all the way through to the end zone. We got to get it done, and we got to get it done, and we can. Because the truth is on our side. If we get the truth out, I believe not only do we get Republicans and conservatives, I believe we can get independents and even some Democrats out there. Because I've heard from them this past week. I had a woman come up to me yesterday at a dairy breakfast and say, I voted for your opponent, but I voted for you because you had the courage to take on the tough problems. And that's I need you and everybody all across the state who believes in the same things we believe in. I need you to help us find those voters. I know that they're your neighbors, you're your friends, they're people you go to church with, they're people you work with. I need you to help us find them and get them to the polls by 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Because this race is too important to let anything fall by the wayside. It is too important not to take it all the way through the end zone. And the reason it's so important is, you know, when I heard that woman, I said, it amazes me. And I heard a guy the other day at a factory and other people along the way who told me a similar story. People who tell me they've been raised Democrats, they voted Democrat in the past, but they're voting, one right here, she's waving her hand. that. It touches my heart. But it amazes me because when they talk about the courage that we'd had to take on these fiscal and economic challenges, I said my parents are here today. Lou and Pat Walker on the side, sit down over here. It amazes me because my parents, like your parents, raised us where you keep your word. So it amazes me that politics is the only profession where you get called courageous just by keeping your word, right? We kept our word, we kept our promises. One of the great things we plan on doing, and I love the signs that say, we stand with Walker. Well, let me tell you, after tomorrow's election, with your help, when we win, you can stand with me tomorrow, election day, because I will continue to stand with the hard-working pastor. That's what this is all about. That's what this is all about. But when I think about courage, that courage doesn't come from politics. That courage comes from the people of Wisconsin. You see, as I've traveled the state almost every day for the past year and a half, I've gone to factories and farms, I've gone to small businesses, I've gone to churches and clinics and schools all across the state. And from one end of the state to the other, I find people just like Tonette and I. I find moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas before them. I find moms and dads who go off to work and work hard every day. Who work hard not just for a paycheck, not just to put food on the table, not just to put clothes in the backs of our kids. I find moms and dads just like Tonette and I who go to work and work hard every single day for the same reason we do. That's because we love our kids and we want them to have a better life than the one we have. I get asked all the time, what inspired you to take on the tough challenges you took on over the past year and a half? They're standing on stage with me right now. Their names Matt and Alex. My kids, and I want to make sure they inherit a Wisconsin at least as great as the Wisconsin I grew up in. That's what this election's all about. Matt and Alex and every other kid and grandkid here tonight, every other one across the country, or across the state I should say, every other kid and grandkid in this state, that's what this election's about. It's to make sure they can grow up in a better home, in a better community, and after tomorrow, yet again, a better Wisconsin than the one we inherited. With your help tomorrow, we're going to do that so we can move Wisconsin forward. Thank you.